So we'll just get started. But before I begin, just a quick round of intros. First of all, thank you everyone for joining us today. I am Mariam. I work at the product marketing team here, and I have with me Sandeep today. He's our product manager. And in fact, both these features that we're demoing today, that is buyer audience and enrichment, that's completely Sandeep's brainchild. So you can feel free to pick his brains after the demo and ask him all the questions that you have. So I'll just jump right into it. Yep. So, just a few things here. If at any point you feel that you want to stop me and ask any questions, just feel free to unmute yourself and do that. And you can also type in your questions in the chat bot. And right after this webinar, we'll be having a live Q&A, so we can just take those questions up then. And as usual, our team, our customer support team, we're always available on Slack and email if you have any questions at all. And just a quick rundown of the agenda. So I'll be demoing the buyer audience and enrichment feature, and I'll spend like 5-10 minutes demoing each of these, and then we'll open the floor for a quick Q&A. Right. So jumping into the demo, I'll start with buyer audience. So to access this feature, you basically navigate to this tool section on the panel, and we head to audiences. Once you land here, you can click on create audience. Now, if you've used this feature before, like you would be able to see that we've done quite a bit of UX changes here, and it's been done to like make this entire workflow of creating an audience much more intuitive for you. And the step one is choosing that specific account segment or list where you want to fetch those buyers from, right? So for this demo, I've basically created this segment. So I'll just search for it here. It's Hot Accounts North America. Once I select the segment or the list, you can see these number of accounts that are there. The next step is to choose your buyer persona. I'll choose US technology buyers. So I believe this is a very, very critical step in this entire process of creating your persona, because once this persona is right, that's when you will find your ICP fit buyers that are most relevant to you, right? Now, once you set these up, you'll be able to see a preview of the buyers. Now, of course, this is like a limited preview. To access this entire list, you need to click on continue to save. But before that, there's an option of including buyers with email, which means that if you want to fetch buyers, only those buyers that have an email ID, like a verified email ID, so you can just check this box here. And then we'll click on continue to save. Over here, you can just give your audience name. I would say hot accounts, any. You can set the maximum number of buyers per company, which essentially means that for each account, how many buyers do you want to fetch? That can be 2, 5, 10, depending upon your use case. Ideally, we like to keep it at 5. That's a safe number. Once you set this, you will be able to see the maximum credits consumption here. I'll just take a pause and quickly tell you, introduce the entire concept of credits to you. So basically, we've introduced credits as a new currency in Reo. And this is different from the accounts and the contacts limit that you currently have, right? So features like buyer audience and enrichment, they consume credits, which means that for every record where we fetch like a LinkedIn or an email ID, we'll each of these consume certain number of credits. So based on the number of records that are generated, like the number of LinkedIn IDs and emails we're able to provide, we give you the maximum credits consumption, which is like the best case scenario where you have all the buyers and you have all their LinkedIn and email IDs, right? So once you're done configuring all of this, we can just hit on save audience. And that's a success. This usually takes a couple of hours. So for the purpose of this demo, I already created this audience some time back. But now coming to the data part and how you can actually action on these, on the dashboard, you will be able to see that specific audience name that you've created. Under the total count, you will see how many audiences are there in this particular audience list. You will see the credits consumed. And okay, this is an important one. So the auto refresh status is basically, if you turn this on, it would mean that for every new account that is added to a segment or list that you have created, so that we will automatically fetch the buyers from those new accounts, right? uh, and now just coming to the action part, I will just refer to the audience I already created. Well, like you can see, this is like the exact same audience that I had created. So coming to the action side of things, the first step is you can download the CSV. And in fact, let me show you how this CSV would also look like. So this is basically the entire CSV of all the buyers that we have generated for that uh, segment, right? You can see the name, the designation, you have these LinkedIn profiles, the email ID, state, country, company name, and all of this information in your CSV. And now you can upload it to any of the other platforms that you use, right? Okay. Yeah. So coming back to the action part, one was of course downloading the CSV that we just saw, and the next step, and this is a major enhancement that we've introduced, in fact, in our recent release, is you can now sync these audiences directly into your CRM. So if you've connected your Salesforce or HubSpot, you'll be able to send these audiences directly to it. Just like the Reo segment, the Reo activity score, etc., is mapped to your CRM. Similarly, you can map these audiences to your CRM and basically use them as filters to find the buyers in from this particular audience directly in your CRM. And that, would unlock like limitless possibilities on what you can do with the data, whether that's creating some workflows, sequences, automations. So that unlocks like a whole new world of possibilities for you. And lastly, you can also enroll these accounts, these audiences into a campaign directly from here, basically the bulk email campaign. So in this three-dotted option, you can just head to the create campaign option, just give your campaign a name. Again, I'll set it similar to hot accounts. You will see that the source will be the audience. The source name is here. You can select that specific channel. You can also select the specific cadence that you want to enroll these audience into, and then finally select the from name. I won't go ahead and create the campaign here, but this is basically how the workflow looks like for audiences, right? Um, okay, so I think that brings us to an end with audiences. Now, moving back to the second part, that is enrichment. So similarly, like audiences for enrichment, we'll head to tools, go to the enrichment section here, and we start by uploading a file. Now, here you choose your enrichment type. Now, basically, these are your files could be uh, like a CSV of GitHub IDs or email IDs, which you might have collected from your events or like webinars, from product signups. Like we all have tons of those, right? So this is like the best way to put them at use. For this purpose, I have like generated a bunch of GitHub IDs, so I will use that to enrich it. So based on what data you have, you choose the enrichment type and you click on next and you upload your CSV here. In fact, before uploading the CSV, I would just like to show you this GitHub ID that I'm going to upload. So this is basically what the sheet looks like, right? Like one column, just GitHub handles, that's all. Uh, One thing that you need to note here is when you upload a file, right, whether it's a GitHub ID or email ID, just ensure that that file just has one column that is either of that GitHub IDs or email handles, right? So I'll go ahead and I will upload this file. You can see that the file has been uploaded successfully and I click on done. Again, similar to what we saw earlier in buyer audience, right? You'll get a notification of the maximum credits that will be consumed by this feature, and you can simply click on proceed. Again, enrichment is something that takes a couple of hours. So again, for the purpose of this webinar, I already uploaded this sheet earlier. It's the exact same sheet if you see. And I'll just walk you through now the other actions that you can take, and how does this enriched data look like. So first off, like on this dashboard, you'll be able to see the file name. You can see which type of enrichment it is, whether it's a GitHub file or an email file. You can check the progress here, which is basically there are three parts to this. One is like completed, that means the enrichment is done. In progress is basically your enrichment is being like it's underway. And completed and restricted would mean that the enrichment is done, but you won't be able to access the contact IDs because of low credits. That could be one of the reasons. And here you will be able to see the total records that you uploaded. And this column, the enriched records, shows you how many records have been enriched. If you click on check progress, you'll be able to see like how many records out of 67 have been enriched until now, right? So this was the GitHub IDs list that I had enriched. And now I'll just click here on download CSV. So, okay, this is the CSV that I've got. And now you can see the before after picture, right? Like it was just one column of dev IDs, GitHub IDs that we had uploaded. And this is all the information that we get after enrichment. So that's including your LinkedIn profile, the name, the designation, the official email ID, the company name, the URL, the country, the industry, even the company LinkedIn URL, and the revenue. So this is what an enriched developer profile looks like. Enriched developer and account profile looks like. Right. So downloading the CSV is one action. And then again, you can directly create campaigns on these enriched records. The process is the same. You click on create campaign, you choose the campaign name, you select your specific outreach tool that you're using, select the cadence, select the from email, and you can directly create your campaigns from here. Well, so that brings me to the end of the demo. And now we can just open the floor for a live Q&A. If there are any questions, feel free to ask us. And if there's any part of this entire demo that you would like me to get back to and like demo it again, I would be happy to walk you through that. Yep. Any questions so far? Any feedback for us? Anything, any feature requests or anything that you would like to see on either of these features?
No, that makes sense.
When you said feature request, I was hoping Dave would say something. But yeah.
I've given you this feedback before. I think that there's a couple of architectural issues that you've got in here. First one is not everybody wants to directly update information into a CRM. All right. And the reason for that is that, we got someone in the chat. We got an anonymous user who's also got something in here as well. One of the things you want to be able to do is you want to be able to push things through a marketing automation engine, and so that's part of the reason why you would want an API access as opposed to attached to another marketing automation engine as opposed to something directly in Salesforce. If you are taking this all the way to its logical conclusion, being able to actually create opportunities isn't something that you necessarily do, but you want those affiliated with a lead and a lead source. And so you're going to want to push it through a marketing automation engine. And so I think that that's an architectural issue that you're going to have to address at some stage. But I've already given you guys that feedback before.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah, I think a lot of customers, what they do is they try to push warm leads to their CRM. So they do some kind of nurturing and then push it to CRM before. Yeah, I get that point. Yeah. But some customers, their workflows or their email campaigns directly start from CRM itself. That also happens.
I don't know who else is in the thing, but I can see some other folks typing in the chat. So maybe they can either join the stage or.
Yeah, I
Can
was
we?
about. Let me take that question. I think the question is, can we track the results of channels directly on Reo.Dev? If I'm understanding it correctly, it it means tracking performance of email campaigns directly on Reo. If that is the question, right now that is not available on Rio. But the idea is all the leads you can send from Rio to your email tools such as Salesloft or Apollo or Outreach. Thanks for confirming whether I've understood the question correctly. But yeah, so right now the answer is no. You cannot track the performance of email campaigns directly on you, but you can send all the data, all the leads into your desired sequence or cadence in your email sequencing cadence tools, and there you can of course track performance of a sequence or cadence. Um, Having said that, for certain tools, um, we have reports on, for example, for Apollo and Outreach, you can track the performance of a particular sequence. For example, you send 100 contacts to a particular sequence. We can tell you out of those 100 contacts, how many have opened the email, how many have sorry, to how many contacts the email got delivered, how many contacts opened the email, and how many contacts sort of clicked on something inside an email. So that information we give you, but I think it's restricted to a couple of tools. But yeah, that having said that, it's on a sequence or a cadence level, but it's not at a user level. For example, if you want to know whether a certain developer or a buyer has opened your email, that information we don't have. We have information at an aggregate level. I hope that answers your question. Great, thank you.
Maybe I missed this in the demo, but was there a aggregation of the credits consumed when no enrichment was done?
When no enrichment is done, there is no credit consumed. For example, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but is that sort of noted in there, like when you were doing the demo and you were enriching, does it give you an aggregate to say this is how many records were enriched versus not?
Uh, yes. So this we get to know only after enrichment is done. So after the enrichment is done, what we do is we send an email to you and we tell you that these many credits got consumed because these many records were enriched. And in the UI also, in the product also, you would be able to see how many records were enriched for that particular file. Yeah. So that we do, yes. Awesome.
Any more questions? Anyone, any feedback on the webinar that you would have, or if there's anything else that you would like to see in the following webinars, then we'd be happy to accommodate those.
Awesome.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would probably highlight one point just to add. I think the emails that we track, or let's say we get in both the features, they are they're already verified. For example, you don't have to worry about let's say doing a never bounce check, etc. That is already been done, and only the verified emails we bring inside the system. That is one. And I think there was one more question from the last webinar, which I would like to highlight here as well. So, in the buyer audience, there was a question that if I select 5 buyers per company, how do you shortlist those 5 buyers? Let's say one one company can have 100 buyers matching your buyer persona, right? So how do you shortlist those 5 buyers? So we have a ranking algorithm based on how closely a particular profile matches the buyer persona. So for example, if you have data science or data analyst as one of the designations and data science job function probably as your ICP by criteria, we would rank, let's say, those 100 profiles against that buyer criteria, and the top 5 profiles would be fetched in that audience. So I hope that that information would be helpful. And since we are recording the session and sharing it with our customers, I hope that information is helpful for them as well.
Awesome. I think if you have any questions, you can reach back to us on Slack or email. And in a couple of hours, I'll also be sharing the recording of this webinar in case you want to go back and look at it. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you have a great day ahead.
Thanks, everyone.